Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late with the recap video. I had to do some fatherly duties here. I had to run to my daughter's school and swap out the battery in her car for her and get back here. Wanted to come back and try to catch this national championship game too. But I'm just running a tick behind. But you guys that are already gone to bed, you should be able to catch this in the morning anyway. Not a crazy day in the market today. It actually traded pretty good. It did pretty much what we were looking for it to do. And, we'll talk about how we attack that here in a minute. So you guys should know we've already talked about the Grow Your Dough Challenge. The wire transfer did hit. When I got logged in this morning, it was still had the $3 in there. And finally, around 10 o'clock or so, the wire transfer showed up. But it was a little bit late for me to engage anything today. Even though we did have some good opportunities from what we were looking at yesterday, it was just a little bit too late. But we were laughing about this in chat. I gained 32,786.89% in my account today. Oh, and that's just by depositing that $1,000. But we laughed about this and about how much I made. But that's what some people do. They'll deposit money into their account and they'll say, hey, look, this is what I made today. You wouldn't know any different. But the wire is in, so we're ready to go. What I'm looking at tomorrow, KTOS, this is the only one that I see that's showing some promise here. This is the 20 EMA cross strategy, but you can see we've got a triangle here. And I'm going to need it to break out this triangle. We are trending up. And we did have a little dip here. But look how aggressively that dip got bought up. So it looks like it did hold this ascending support this time. And we're starting to push up. So I'm looking for it to break this triangle here. Take out this high. But I'm going to get in. I get in on a break of this. If we open higher than the previous day, than the close today, that's going to trigger an entry. And depending on how aggressive I feel, I may get in prior or I may wait until we break this level and then get in. But you can see 52-week high as a target. We'd have a good 2 points to get there. That's not a bad move on this. I would take this all day long. And remember, we can't use margin. So share size is going to be small. The money that we make initially is going to be small. But you got to understand, this is developing, long-term wealth. And that's what we're looking to build. And this is just one of the strategies that a lot of people are using. I saw a video today of a guy doing a challenge, and what he's doing is he's taking that $1,000 and he's going to yard sales and things like that to flip merchandise. So that's what he's going to do. There's a lot of different things that people are doing. There's several people that are doing investing in the stocks as well. So I'm going to do what I'm good at and, let the chips fall where they may. But this is what we are looking at tomorrow. And I'll cover it a little bit more in the room in the morning. But you could see it's the 20 EMA cross strategy. We crossed it and held above it today. We are trending up. And we've got a nice triangle here that if it breaks, we may have a nice push up. So we're looking for it to move up to the 52-week high here. All right, so today, if you remember, we were talking yesterday when we did the session. If you guys missed it, the video is on YouTube. It's the one that I did yesterday, the whole session, and I went over the strategies that I'm going to be using for the challenge. And remember, I said if we make a push over the 20, then I'm going to be more aggressive swing trading, less aggressive day trading. And that's exactly what we got here. We got a push over. We held above the 20, and we nailed a really good swing trade. It actually hit the first target today and came really close to hitting the main target. So we'll look at that here in a minute. But that was the only thing. And I was kind of reserved about swing day trading, so much so that I kind of missed out on a big opportunity. But I had a lot of different things working against me this morning that kind of prevented me from maximizing my potential in terms of day trading. And we'll talk about that too in a second. But, just take a look at what's happening here with the SPY. Here, I thought we were going to come down and hit this descending support before we actually bounced. I think FinViz took it off the base of these candles and, actually had it a little bit closer. So they might have been, closer on the descending support line than I was. But I was expecting it to pull back. It didn't. You see, we got the bounce. And when we started to bounce, I didn't expect to pull back until we hit the 20. And then I thought we may try to pull back. But it didn't make it that far. We started to pull back here. And you can see it really wasn't a strong pullback. And then Friday, we had that good news. Good market day on Friday. And today we're continuing to march up. So it's going to be interesting to see if this descending resistance is going to play a key, or are we going to make it to this pivot here? This is a solid line of resistance here at around 260. There's several different pivots that are like in about a 10 to 20 cent range between 259.80 and 260. So I'm looking at, if it does push through, this will probably be a pullback point. Not to say that it's going to come all the way back down. It's just a point I think we're going to rest at if this thing continues to go. So tomorrow I'm going to be looking to see if we get through this descending resistance here, and if it's going to continue to march up. So that's what I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow. Now, the swing trade we did right off our list, right off our swing trade list, watch list that we built yesterday, TWLO. I told you this was my #1 pick, and it actually gapped up. And this upset me because I wanted to get a better entry than this. But it gapped up. I thought we may pull in to around 90, maybe just, between 89 and 90 before we started to run back up, but we didn't get it. So I ended up having to get in here at 91.87. And my first target, halfway between where I entered and the 52-week high, which is our ultimate target. And remember, yesterday we talked about, why this is where my target is and how I like to play these, once it hits the 52-week high. So if you want to check that out, you can watch the video from yesterday and kind of, go to where we were talking about these 20 EMA crosses. But almost hit that second target. That would have been awesome if it hit it. But we locked in 1152.26 today. So on that first target. Second target, we should lock in just over $2,000, and we'll have another 100 shares waiting to see if it's going to continue to blow through this 52-week high, or are we going to pull in like it's done every other time. Now, here was a 52-week high, it pulled in. Here was another one, it hit, that it broke, and it pulled back in. And, this may do the same thing. But tomorrow I'm looking for it to eclipse this level. I may put it at 101 and, the target at 101 and kind of see where it goes from there. But really nice entry on this right off the swing trade watch list. When the market is there for us, we've got these opportunities all day long. When the market is not there, that's when we need to sit on our hands and not force anything and wait. And if we're patient, it's going to come to us, and we're actually going to end up making more money because we won't be losing any in between our wins. So, kind of keep that in mind. Now today, some of the day trades we're looking at, PCG, you see we took this huge hit after market yesterday on that bankruptcy news. And so it didn't hit my scan this morning because it's the float is like 5,000 shares over 5 million, 500 million. 500 million share float is kind of where I set my limit. I need to raise it right now because of the market we're going into. But that's why I didn't hit the scan. But somebody mentioned it in chat, and I'm glad they reminded me of this. Because I forgot about this from the day before. And, we set up to trade this. Now, what intrigued me was this is a 52-week low right here. This is the low that it put in, 1650 aftermarket on this big sell-off. So I was looking at this as, okay, we get a 5-minute opening range breakdown. First target, 52-week low. If it can get through there, I'm looking for the low of the previous, aftermarket, which was 1650. Solid. This would be a solid trade, solid opportunity here. Now, I know this was only, 70, 80 cents. But an $18 stock, you get in with 500 shares. You take 250 shares off for like 70, 75 cents. That is a nice lick. And then you've got, another 75, 80 cents down to this next level. This was great profit potential. And the risk I felt was, minimal. But you have to respect the strategy. Now, some people jumped in this early and got nailed. Okay, because this thing dipped down and it looked like it was going to work. And then it got bought right back up. This is why I wait for the first 5-minute candle to trade. And then I wait till it actually sets up. And that's when I take it. This did not set up. And also, SSR triggered on it. And we all know what happens when stocks are on SSR. We've seen it for the last 3 months in the stocks that we worked on and that we've looked at trading in the chat room. So we're very well aware and well versed on dealing with stocks on SSR. So if you don't have experience, just leave them the hell alone. Don't touch them. Because you're going to end up hurt, like several people were hurt today. They jumped in before the strategy set up, anticipating. And whenever you anticipate, most of the time you end up on the wrong side of things. So this is why we stayed out of PCG today. No trade, no setup. And we kind of left that alone. On Roku, this was another one. This was the big miss. Look at the beautiful setup, bullish setup right here coming in to the open. at 9 o'clock. Very beautiful setup. The reason why I didn't take this was because I was looking for a pullback. As beautiful as this bullish setup was, RSI was well over 80. And I do not go long when the RSI is that high. If it's at 70, I would have taken it all day long. This was over 80. I stayed away from it, and look at what it did. It didn't care anything about being overbought. It just continued to get overbought and overbought and overbought. It just didn't care. This is one of these rare occasions, you know, and now in hindsight, I think I should have taken a shot at this. But like I said, my morning was a little bit in turmoil because I had to, my administrator ran an audit, and like 3 or 4 people whose subscriptions had expired within the last 6 months were still in and still had access. And, you know, we had to go through all of that. And so it was kind of a mess this morning before I could even get started. And you guys were in chat, you know, because you knew I was a little preoccupied trying to build a watch list. But this was a great one. SAGE, I don't have the chart, but that one was good too. I was getting ready to get in it, but the spread was like up to $1.50 at times. So that's a no-go. If I go in with 100 shares and the spread's $1.50, I'm already down $150. Makes absolutely no sense, and you know, was untradeable, so I stayed out of it. So I never really got comfortable. You know, this I wasn't gonna get in. I wasn't gonna chase. It just kept going up, but I wasn't gonna jump in. There was absolutely nothing else for me to trade. Nothing else set up. Everything just kind of went sideways, and I threw the towel in early. You know, came in after lunch. Nothing was really doing anything, and you know, around 1:45 or so, I said that was it. I went outside, blew some leaves, and that was that. So we're gonna come back tomorrow, see if we can pick up the pieces and make a little bit of money in our day trading account. Swing trades look great, but right now, day trading is a little slow. But like I said, the market's running up. Day trading is going to be more conservative for me. Swing trading is going to be more aggressive. And that was a plan that we followed today. All right, so that's going to do it for me. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys first thing in the morning.